Bulginaka, do you know that cybercrime is becoming a growing problem in Fiji?
Cybercrime is defined as a crime in which a computer is the object of the crime, such as hacking and spamming.
Cybercrime is also cyberbullying and using fake profiles to cause panic and spreading false news.
If you're involved in this or know anyone who's committing these crimes, report them immediately.
I'm Polly.
And I'm Peter.
We host the Traffic Jam Show on City FM.
From 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. every weekday.
Do the right thing.
Kanamidaka, Fiji, in this bulletin, sports budget diverted towards COVID-19 response. 10% pay cut for Rosie Holidays executives. And PS clarifies border restrictions.
From the studios of FBC Suva, Edwin Nunn.
But first this morning, government ministers were disappointed that businesses could not come up with effective suggestions to fend off the effects of COVID-19 during a meeting with the private sector yesterday. While there were a number of recommendations put to the floor, none were targeted towards cushioning the blow from COVID-19. Trade Minister Premila Kumar says businesses will have to return to the drawing board, identify issues and propose relevant strategies.
What we saw today was more of a general suggestions, very broad. In some cases it's not even relevant now, knowing that COVID-19 is more difficult issue to handle as compared to global financial crisis.
What can we do to assist you, for example, to maybe go to Vietnam or Thailand, and maybe government can look at some form of subsidization. That's the type of input that we want, the kind of nuanced approach to individual sectors.
Fiji Chamber of Commerce and Industry President Dr. Nur Bano Ali shared the same sentiments, urging businesses to make their submissions and ensure their issues are considered in the supplementary budget next Thursday. Just over $1 million has been reverted to the government by the Fiji National Sports Commission due to the COVID-19 outbreak and the cancellation of international sporting events. Executive Chair Peter Maisy says the money will go towards the COVID-19 response budget. Kara Tavi with more details.
Maisy says the allocated funds for international events will now be included in the mini-budget next week.
The funding that was allocated for all these events can now be used by the Ministry of Economy to in their new budget that they're planning next week. So if we're looking at what we were expecting for this quarter, just for the hosting of local events, it's about 1.3 billion.
He says they will be relooking at hosting local events once and if there is a confirmed case of COVID-19 in Fiji.
Right at the moment, but I think there was, we've also been warned by the PS that if there are cases of the virus do appear and the coronavirus appear in Fiji, then things will be re-looked at again.
The Fiji National Sports Commission will be working with the government to help educate people on COVID-19 through its rural and urban programs.
No longer are we going to a program and starting to talk about sports. We're going to talk about what they can do. This is our first pitch, is going to be about how they can help themselves not to get the coronavirus.
The Commission is urging Fijians to stay abreast with information given by the Health Ministry and relevant stakeholders. This is to avoid confusion over this global pressing issue. Karleni Tavi, FBC Sports.
25 executives of Rosie Holidays have taken a 10% pay cut to cushion the effects of COVID-19, while the remaining 575 staff will work on reduced hours from April. One of the largest inbound tour operators estimates a $15 million revenue loss since the outbreak, with fears that could worsen as we get closer to our peak tourism period from June to August. Group Managing Director Tony Whitten has assured there will be no layoffs because family is a priority, but they will closely monitor expenses.
The key goal is to ensure that every staff has a job. And so business can respond in two ways. Businesses can just shed 50% of their staff, and the other 50% that still have jobs continue as normal. Or you tell all the staff to say, listen, we want to make sure that you still have jobs. And so what we do is we call for everyone to equally make a sacrifice to make it sustainable. Immigration
Permanent Secretary Yogesh Karan has clarified the COVID-19 border restrictions. Karan says with the exception of 4 countries, travelers to Fiji for private functions like weddings and the upcoming Easter break have not been restricted, provided they clear the mandatory health screening at our ports of entry. However, the PS says nationals from China, Iran, Italy and South Korea will not be allowed to enter Fiji.
We have not put any restrictions on any of the public gathering in Fiji. But for international conferences, we are not allowing that to happen. So all conferences, until further advice, have been deferred. But anyone wanting to come for any private function or wedding, there's no restrictions for them from the country that we allow.
Prime Minister Voreqe Bainimarama has called on Fijians not to politicize the COVID-19 pandemic. The Prime Minister has highlighted that this is not a time to panic, but a time for prudence. He says it's not only about protecting yourself, as the well-being of the countless Fijians is everyone's responsibility. Fiji will look at more stringent measures, as other nations have done, to aggressively prevent the spread of the virus.
Do not stigmatize or discriminate against any of your fellow citizens. Do not sensationalize information. Do not spread fake news at the expense of public health, the economy and the jobs and livelihoods of our people.
Overseas, the New Zealand Prime Minister has announced further measures to stop the spread of COVID-19. Gatherings of more than 500 people, indoors and outdoors, will be banned across New Zealand, which is likely to affect 107 planned events. Coming up, Caleb Muntz wants to be the next Sitiveni Sivivatu, and Kavala Rugby to debut in Maris Sevens.
Oira na ngone no de nunu ena bisi ni mataka.
Mersusunga da kena loma dina kilo mikron.
Sakena ngau na mitaro bina no rabaksa ngai ka wala loma taki na ngone. Dalo bina oya o meliki.
Bulre oya o Samuel Samuli.
Nama kikira ena be mataka.
Moniti kina makarombuka.
Ni waitiri kalima na miniti me ono kina tiri na kaloko. Ena Radio Fiji One na ndomo ibiti.
Inau kina na mataka. Dan ramai na singabo.
Welcome back. International athletes will not be allowed to be part of local sporting tournaments. Fiji National Sports Commission Executive Chair Peter Maisie made the clarification following the government announcement that local events are closed to foreigners.
We do have a number of local events, and even the Coca-Cola Games generally has some people from overseas. But that has been now clearly spelled out that any overseas competitors will not be able to come to these events.
Maisie adds the Commission is working with the Health Ministry to ensure the safety of all athletes. Flying Fijian fly half Caleb Muntz has set his sight on becoming the next Sitiveni Sivivatu. Growing up in Hamilton, New Zealand, Muntz had always looked up to the Fijian national and former All Black winger. Muntz says though he had no pressure to play the sport, Sivivatu has always been one of his inspirations.
Yeah, growing up in Hamilton, I was a big Chiefs supporter, not so much anymore, but Sitiveni Sivivatu was one of my big ones. Never played the position, but just the way that he played was pretty awesome.
Muntz was part of the Fijian Latui squad that lost 22-29 to China Lions in the global rapid rugby competition over the weekend. The Kavala Sevens team is set to debut in the 44th Fiji Bita Maris Sevens tournament. The Kandavu-based rugby club is looking to stamp its mark in the tournament. Talei Mateira Kula caught up with the team.
These players want to showcase their talent at the first outing in any major local tournament.
All players here this is for their first time for the Maris 7. So a few players have been already playing the Maris 7. So yeah, preparation is going well right now. So we are trying to adapt the boys to the tournament.
The team aims to give younger players a feel of the biggest local sevens tournament.
Just to give the boys more experience and exposure for the boys and for the team as a whole.
Coach Navitalai Tawake says developing skills is the main objective for the side.
To participate in more tournaments here in Fiji level and Hono level. The more they participate in such tournament, the more they get experience.
The Cavallo Rugby Club is the Yaumbula Sevens title holder in Kandavu, looking to go a step further on Thursday. The Marist Sevens tournament will be held from the 19th to the 21st of this month at the ANZ Stadium in Suva. Tali Materkula, FBC Sports.
Labasa Football is looking forward to another successful season. Striker Antonio Tuivuna believes the Babasing Alliance are ready to reach new heights after winning Team of the Year during the Fiji Football Awards. Tuivuna says the recognition will be an added boost for players this season.
We have to keep up that momentum. We have to still go on, work harder to stay on top.
The forecast is for showers and thunderstorms. A flash flood warning is in force for low-lying areas in Tavua, Takiraki and Ba. And that's your FBC Morning News. Remember to join us at 1 p.m. and 7 p.m. for our major bulletin for these stories and others. You can also tune in daily to our sister radio station Gold FM. That's it from me for now. Have a good morning.
हमारे खूबसूरत देश फिजी में चाइल्ड अब्यूज की घटनाएं आए दिन बढ़ रही हैं।
क्यों बच्चों का मासूम बचपन अब्यूज का शिकार हो जाता है?
अपने बच्चों की सुरक्षा का खास ख्याल रखें।
उनसे बातचीत करें, उनके दोस्तों के बारे में जानें।
आज के बच्चे देश का भविष्य है। मैं दीप्ति
और मैं मोनिश,
आपके हमसफर। शामिल हो जाए हमारे साथ मंडे टू फ्राइडे
5:45 AM से 10 AM तक
रेडियो फिजी 2 देश की धड़कन पर।